Welcome to the Secrets of the Planets. This is a workshop that comes from a series of workshops called The Secret Teachings of Hawaii. And this workshop is pretty much a standalone. You don't have to have had the other ones to get the full benefits of this workshop. But just what is this workshop about? To the Hawaiians, the planets just weren't objects up in the sky. They believed that each of the planets was a being, a spirit, if you will, that had an influence on our lives, that were directly involved in our lives. And in fact, if you had matters of bad luck, these are the beings that you would go to. In the Tamang of Nepal, they believe the planets hold your karma. And in a similar way, as we'll see when we sort of get into Mars, you will see how this works. But why take this workshop? This workshop is particularly good if you've had an issue or a goal or a situation in your life that you have really done a lot of work on. You have gone through therapy, you have taken workshops, you've mastered meditation, spiritual development, and all that, but somehow it's still there, or your goal eludes you. The Secrets of the Planets provides you with a way that can untie that loose end, that will allow you to reach your goals, to get what it is you want, or to solve this issue that seems to be plaguing you in some way and just won't go away. That is the main benefit of the Secret of the Planets. Plus, you'll learn a healing technique that you can use on clients and on yourself that is very powerful and will have the same effect. That is, being able to allow somebody to move on with their lives. So, the workshop will involve a series of shamanic journeys in which you will meet these various beings. So the journey is the way shamans would make their connections to spirits. And we use the shamanic journey in this way to find out just what are these beings, how is it they help with us. Then once we have done the journeys, we refer back to the teachings of the Hawaiians. And a lot of the secrets of the Hawaiians are contained in their words. This is how Huna developed. It came out of an examination of their words. So let's go dive right in and take a look at Mars, because Mars is a really good example of how the planets work. So as you see here on the screen, we have 4 different names. If you opened a dictionary, these would be the names for Mars, the Hawaiian names for Mars. Now in Hawaiian, in order to penetrate a secret of what they were really thinking of, we have to delve into these various words they have. Now these words are in order of modernity. These words are in the order from the most recent definition or adaptation of a word to the more ancient. So hoku'ula is the most modern word. Comes probably after the missionaries came to Hawaii. Then Malika takes us a little bit further back. Holo Pina'au takes us back even further. And the most ancient of the words for Mars is Aukeli Nui Aika. Think of it as the Egyptian system. You've all heard many ways that the Egyptians believed, but it depends on how far back you go to really get to grasp the beliefs of the Egyptians. The same were the Hawaiians. The beliefs of 1,000 years ago were not the same as they are, say, 100 years ago, or even today. So let's take a look at how this works. Now, each of these words are made up of syllables, and in the Hawaiian, the syllables are words themselves. And so by adding these individual words together, we could come upon a new understanding. They begin to flesh out the meaning and give us an insight into how the Hawaiians viewed Mars. So let's start with Hoku'ula and just sort of break that down and see what that is. So Hoku means star, and Ula means red, flame, blood, ghost, spirit. And in the modern Hawaiian, and this is one of the more modern words for Mars, Hoku is usually used in any planet or any star. So it just sort of goes with all the modern names. And Ula means red. So you can see red planet, the red star. This, again, comes from something very modern. But you see how we take these syllables and begin to find out what the word means. But let's look again at Malika, which is a little bit more further back. The meaning comes from further back. And if we begin to break down Malika, we see that Ma means to clear, and it's also short for desire, or make. And Lika means mucus or slime. So here we begin to penetrate the mystery of how the Hawaiians viewed Mars. So Ma, it has an ability to clear. And what is it can clear? Lika, mucus, slime. Now that's kind of interesting. What is this mucus or slime that they're talking about? And so let's go a little bit further back. In fact, let's take Aukeli Nui Ika, the most ancient of the words for Mars, and break this down in a similar manner to see if we could get perhaps more insights into the nature of these words. So ao means gall, bile. Similar, mucus, slime, gall, bile, period of time, and group. Now, these definitions are themselves in order of antiquity. So gall, bile is a more modern take on it. Group would be from further back. So ao, kele, swamp, greasy, fat, impure. Nui, big. So already we're getting an idea that this has something to do with something big, something impure involving a group. And ika, to turn aside from the straight course, to strike against. So here we're beginning to get the flavor of Mars, that it can actually turn us away from the path we're on. Not only that, but it can strike against us. And so by putting these various definitions together, we begin to expand the meaning of Mars. And we come up with what I believe is how the ancients thought of Mars. That is, the large amount of bile, or hatred, poisons, if you will, held for a group of people that is impure and strikes back against us, keeping us from the straight course. So here we begin to get an idea what Mars is all about. It takes the hatreds we have, or negative thinking, that's held for a group of people, and it holds this. It holds this in place. Not only that, but by holding this, it has a negative effect on us. It strikes back against us and prevents us from moving on in our life. So let's take a little deeper look at this. From the journeying aspect, we find that Mars is a direct, no-nonsense spirit, sort of a general, if you will. And Mars holds the poisons generated by groups of people and keeps them in place. So one of the aspects is cultures that have a hatred for other cultures. Mars takes that poison, that poisonous thinking, and it keeps it wrapped around that group of people, which is kind of interesting. Why does it do this? But this explains why so many areas of the world, so many groups of people have this hatred towards each other. Take the Middle East, the hatred between the Jews, the Palestinians, and the Arabs, and nothing seems to be able to get beyond this. Rationality, reason has no effect. So how is it that this happens? So Mars is also in charge of the wrongs, or including thoughts, that you've done to groups or collections of people, either directly or through a neglect, usually a result of judgments. So the negative thinking you've had about groups of peoples, Mars holds this around you too. So it holds the negative thinking, the hatred around groups of people, but also you. It takes your thoughts and wraps them around you and keeps them solid. It holds these wrongs like a slime, and these repel other people or similar groups or classes of people. So let's say, an example, I wrote several scripts for movie scripts, and there was a period where I really wanted to pursue having them made into a movie. Well, this meant I had to deal with Hollywood people. And I had this judgment about Hollywood people that they are shallow, they're greedy, and they have absolutely no depth whatsoever. So here I had this judgment. And what happens is Mars takes this judgment and holds it around me. Now, the beauty of Mars is that it can also remove and cleanse us of this slime. So it has the ability to not only hold it around us, but it can also remove it. And when it removes it, it can help you move in a direction you haven't been able to move before. So in the case of the Hollywood types, by working with Mars, Mars can remove that slime around me, which means that I can make contact now with the Hollywood people. Or if we take, let's think of, you have to get a job, and the people that you're starting to work with are Republicans, and you're going to be hired by them. And most of us are liberals. So these judgments we have against Republicans will create this slime against us and keep us from making contact with these Republicans. But not only that, it repels them. So purification. Mars is, as one of the definitions said, is in charge of cleansing. So Mars has this ability to purify us of all this negativity. Many of the things we want come from other people. So in order for me to get a movie made from a script, I have to be able to connect to Hollywood types. That means they have something I want. They have the ability to move me forward in my goal. Or again, in the case of the job where you are being hired into a conservative company and Republicans are going to be your boss. They need to hire you. They're the ones who will be paying you. They have what we want. Think about it when, if you have a healing practice, are there groups of people you dislike in any way? Mars will keep them away from you. And when Mars dissolves this slime, then these people could come to you. So it can clear these energy slime or negative energies that keep these people away. Mars is also good for healing the throat and the mid-back. And this is the beauty of Mars, is it has this ability. So sometimes when we're stuck in our lives, it's due to these attitudes, these thoughts we have, these beliefs we have about other people and groups of people. And the job of Mars is to hold it around us and keep these people away. But as I said, most of the time, anything we want, we have to get from somebody else. And so when we go to these people, if we're covered with this energy slime, they will not get near us. They will be repelled by us. But Mars also has the ability to cleanse us of that. And that's what you'll discover in the secret planets. It's not only Mars, but there are other planets that have different influences on us. For instance, there's a planet that carries the hatred or the animosity we have towards another person and absolutely prevents forgiveness from taking place. But this being, this planet, also has the ability to encourage forgiveness, to facilitate it. So the planets have these dual natures. And in this workshop, you will be going into these attributes of these planets, what they do for us, and how they keep us stuck, or how they can absolutely help us to move forward in our lives. So I hope you'll think about this workshop. The next one is going to be in Cleveland on May 11th and 12th, which is very soon. So I encourage you to register. The information will be in either the email I just sent you or down below in the description box if you're on the YouTube watching this. And again, I encourage you to come to this. This is something that is not taught. You are not going to find this information anywhere else. So I really look forward to seeing you, and mahalo.